Hi, I'm Paul Williams and welcome to my video which is recording my progress through my treatment for an illness called mycosis fungoides, otherwise known as cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, CTCL. When I looked on YouTube, I found very little patient videos of people going through the same treatment as myself. So I thought I would do a blog to try and record my feelings and my experiences of the treatment that I'm receiving. It's a very personal view, and I hope that you might find it helpful if you are undergoing similar treatment. I've completed the first phase of my conditioning prior to a stem cell transplant, and that was the TSEB, which I recorded in a number of other previous videos. That was a total of 5 weeks of electron beam therapy, and that resulted in my somewhat dodgy Peaky Blinders look. I've had 2 weeks off, and on Friday last week I had a Hickman line inserted. This is a way in which drugs can be administered directly into my system intravenously without having to have a needle inserted every time I need something putting in. It's an interesting experience, frankly, not one that I really want to go through again, and at one stage absolutely hurt like hell. Right now, it's not too bad. It's not uncomfortable. It occasionally itches, and that's probably more the sticky tape of the dressings that's protecting it from infection rather than anything else. Today, that was on Friday. Today is Monday. I was admitted last night in the very late stroke early hours, and I spent the night here and was prepped this morning for my first session of total lymphoid irradiation. In my previous video I mentioned that I had a panic attack when I had the mold made, and I can honestly say I was on the verge. I don't think I actually did have a panic attack, but I was definitely on the verge of it this morning when I had that mask put over my head this morning when I went in for my first session. Thankfully, the girls were fantastic. They as soon as I started getting really concerned, they took the mask off. They held my hands till I was ready to do it again. And when I got down into it, I was able to pull on the handles. I had to have my arms up above my head holding handles at the top of my head, and I was able to pull on that sufficient to remove the majority of the pressure over my nose and mouth. So the mask, the mold, is a mesh framework, a plastic framework that sits over your face and is anchored to the table of the X-ray machine behind your head, and it holds your head in precisely the same position, and the emphasis there is on maintaining a consistent position. Unfortunately, it's incredibly claustrophobic. Obviously you can't move, so that makes swallowing potentially a little bit difficult. My mouth went incredibly dry, and I had to abort and start again when settling in, after having a few sips of water just to wet my mouth. Just pure panic, there was nothing else. But when I got down and settled in and I went to my happy place, I survived. I got through it. The total experience was about, I think, about 45 minutes from kickoff to being sitting back up, which was fairly gruesome. I was on the verge of panic 2 or 3 times, but managed to pull myself back and rein it in and came through the other side. So I'm 1 out of 9 down. I'm at day minus, transplant day minus 11 days. So tomorrow is minus 10. Right now I am plumbed into a infusion pump that is putting a product called ATG into me, and this is an anti-rejection, Anti Thymocyte Globulin is, I think, what it stands for, and it is conditioning treatment to make my body prepared and ready for when the stem cells come. So phase 1 of the conditioning was the TSEB. Phase 2 of the conditioning is the TLI and the ATG. I have the ATG for 7 days, and then I think they start putting some other anti-rejection drug into me. And because this is a protein that's coming into my body unexpectedly, I'm also taking anti-rejection, for want of a better word, drugs for the ATG. A steroid and some other drugs to prevent me having an adverse reaction to this ATG. I have this machine attached to me the whole night, so that's another surprise. And unfortunately, the whole process has been leaping from one anxiety to another. But I'm reasonably comfortable at the moment. I've only been at it for about an hour. I think that if I am going to have a reaction, it will appear at sort of 3-4 hours in. So if that happens, then they will put some other drugs in to try and counteract fever, and hopefully I'll have a pleasant night's sleep, albeit with the thought that this pipe is dragging against my chest. But today is done. I've ticked a couple of extra boxes. There's a few more to go yet, but I'm ticking the boxes, and that's good. So hopefully tomorrow's TLI will be a little bit less stressful, and I will update you once I get a little bit further down this process. So thank you for watching. See you next time.